All right, and we are back here on the GSMC Football Podcast. And for the third part of the show, we are going to talk about the Jacksonville Jaguars. A few things I wanted to touch upon with them. We'll talk about them exercising the fifth-year options of both quarterback Trevor Lawrence and running back Travis Etienne. We'll get into their draft. We'll talk about what they did. And they also did release wide receivers Zay Jones, so I wanted to touch upon that. So let's get into Trevor Lawrence and Travis Etienne, who also played in college together. They've exercised the fifth-year options for both of these players, both 2021 first-round picks, and former Clemson teammates. Trevor Lawrence completed 65.6% of his passes, over 4,000 yards, 21 touchdowns, and 14 interceptions, which is a little high in 2023. But he dealt with several injuries towards the end of the season. A knee injury in week 6. Well, that's not towards the end of the season, but the ankle injury in week 13, a concussion in week 15, and a shoulder in week 16. So, yeah, that's a lot of injuries. And he did end up missing a game that they did win. It was against the Panthers, but, he played against the Browns, a game that he probably shouldn't have played in. And he threw 3 picks in that game. And it was a mess towards the end of the year. They went 1-5 in their last 6 games, and they missed the playoffs. And yeah, it was an unfortunate end to their season. And you think if Trevor Lawrence doesn't get hurt, what ends up happening? Do the Jags hold on to the division and make the playoffs? I mean, you'd have to lean that way. Because when they beat the Texans the second time in Houston, most people thought, well, at least I thought, that the division was wrapped, that was it. But that was not the case. The Jaguars, they collapsed towards the end of the year, and they're looking to bounce back. And this is something interesting. Among Lawrence's 16 starts, his performance after each injury ranked as his 2nd, 5th, 7th, and 8th worst games of the season by total EPA. And my friend is texting me about the Knicks losing, and I'm going to have to talk to him about that because, if you're a Knicks fan, that was a rough one last night. So, anyways, back to what I was talking about with the Jaguars. So now with Travis Etienne, he received a vote for Offensive Player of the Year for the first time in his career in 2023. He had a solid season. Had over 1,000 yards rushing, 11 touchdowns. He also caught 58 passes for 476 yards and a touchdown. And one of them was against the Steelers, and that was against the Steelers, I believe. And he did miss the year he got drafted. He didn't play. He had I think it was a foot injury that kept him out the whole year. So he didn't, excuse me, he didn't even play in 2021. But, the last 2 years, he's been solid for them. And you're hoping for another big year out of him. He's going to be an important part of that Jaguars offense. So, yeah, this is, they picked up the fifth-year options of both these guys. Trevor Lawrence, he's going to get his money at some point. You're hoping for a better season, not filled with injuries and a better touchdown to interception ratio. 14 interceptions is a little high. It's a little high. So, but I think he's the Jaguars guy moving forward. Travis Etienne, he's a running back, and the kind of offseason, the last couple of offseasons that running backs have had. Although Saquon Barkley did get paid, and you saw a lot of running backs change teams. Derrick Henry, Austin Eckler, just to name a few. And Travis Etienne, I think the Jaguars are going to want to keep him too. So, he's not going to get paid Trevor Lawrence money, but I think the Jaguars, they'll work something out with him. So they're going to be big parts of this team moving forward. Now, the other thing that they did was they released wide receiver Zay Jones, and this was less than a week after drafting Brian Thomas Jr. from LSU. And the release of Zay Jones results in a savings of $4.49 million against the salary cap. He signed a 3-year contract with the team in March of 2022. But they let him go, and they also released kicker Joey Slye as well. Brian Thomas Jr., Had 17 touchdown receptions in 2023. He was drafted 23 at 23 by the Jaguars. And another thing, actually, the Jaguars did is they also have Jarvis Landry will be participating in Jaguars rookie minicamp May 10th through the 11th. So he's trying to make an NFL comeback. So, and then back with Zay Jones. So he recorded 116 catches for 1,144 yards and 7 touchdowns in 2 seasons with the Jaguars, including career highs of 82 receptions and 823 yards in 2022. He missed 8 games in 2023 due to a knee injury. So, yeah, I mean, that's who they ended up. I guess he ended up being. Well, you thought it was gonna be. He was Ridley's replacement, Brian Thomas Jr., but they also did let go of Zay Jones. So, but I did want to take a look at their draft as a whole. So with Brian Thomas Jr. being taken at 23, 2 touchdowns in 2021, 5 touchdowns in 2022. In 2023, he was third team Associated Press All-American, second team All-SEC, led the FBS with 17 receiving touchdowns, like I said, and played in all 13 games with 12 starts. So that was their first pick, and they're expecting big things out of him, hopefully being the Calvin Ridley replacement. You still got Christian Kirk there and Evan Ingram. So, look, I mean, I think the Jaguars are going to bounce back. You know, if Trevor Lawrence is healthy, they're gonna bounce back and be the team that started off the year 8-3. Although they were still trying to find their consistency with the offense, but I think the Jaguars will bounce back. Then in the second round, they took Mason Smith, another LSU player, a defensive tackle in high school, 5-star prospect, top 20 overall nationally. We'll look at 2023. So started 12 games in 2023, 28 tackles, 4.5 tackles for loss, and 2.5 sacks. So, again, that's someone to add to the defensive line, which includes Trayvon Walker, Eric Armstead, and Josh Allen, who got paid. So, that helps. They took a corner in the third round, Jerrion Jones, out of Florida State, 5'11", 190 pounds. In 2023, honorable mention, All-ACC, played in 12 games with 9 starts, 25 tackles, 3 interceptions, and 1 was returned for a touchdown. So, and 5 tackles for loss. So, again, someone to add to the secondary. They took a tackle in the fourth round, Javon Foster out of Missouri. In 2023, third-team Associated Press All-American, first-team All-SEC, started all 13 games, team captain. So, again, you want to protect Trevor Lawrence, and, you can never go wrong with taking offensive lineman, like I said before, unless you don't nail the pick. So they took him. They took another defensive tackle, another one from LSU, Jordan Jefferson. In 2023, played in all 13 games with 6 starts, 36 tackles, 7 tackles for loss with 2.5 sacks. The fifth round, they took another corner from Mississippi, DeAndre Prince. Started all 13 games, 36 tackles, 5 tackles for loss with 1 sack and interception. They took a running back, Keelan Robinson from Texas. He had 1 start. Well, he played in all 13 games with 1 start, 3 rushing touchdowns on the year. And they took a kicker in the 6th round. Actually, there were some, not even just kickers, but punters got taken too. The Bears took the kicker from Iowa, which I thought was interesting. But yeah, they took the kicker from Arkansas, Cam Little. 2023 first team All-SEC kickoff specialist. So, yeah, I mean, the Jaguars had some kicking problems last year themselves. So, and yeah, I just mentioned how they got rid of Joey Slye. So, and they had McManus. Didn't they have him last year? But I guess actually let's see where McManus is. I thought McManus was on the team last year. So he is so now he's with the Commanders. Okay. But he was with the Jaguars last year. But yeah, now he's with the Commanders. So yeah, that was in the 6th round. They took a kicker, the Jaguars. They took Miles Cole, a defensive end from Texas Tech. Honorable mention, all Big 12 conference. Started 12 games, 32 tackles, 6.5 tackles for loss with 3.5 sacks. So that's what the Jaguars did. Took some defensive guys. Brian Thomas Jr. was the big pick. Like I said, they took a tackle. So, yeah, I mean, they addressed some needs. And, we'll see how all these guys pan out. Like I've been saying, I'm not going to pretend like I'm an expert, that I know all these players. But, again, add depth on the defensive line, add some guys in the secondary. Because they did lose some guys in the secondary. Because I think Darius Williams was a guy that, was with them. And then he went back to the Rams. So, you lost him. And I think, didn't they also lose to somebody else? Oh, I think it was Rayshawn Jenkins, I believe. So he's now with the he's with the Seahawks. So they did lose him too. Safety. So that was because I kind of figured I knew he was the other player. I just wanted to double check just to make sure. But yeah, those are the Jaguars' moves. Like I said, when it comes to picking up the 5th-year options of Travis Etienne and Trevor Lawrence. I mean, Trevor Lawrence, is going to get paid. Travis Etienne, again, plays running back. So, we'll see if the Jaguars, keep him around or if they go in a different direction. But I feel like they're going to keep him too. But like I always say, we will have to wait and see on that. And like I said, Jaguars collapsed towards the end of 2023. And they're looking to try to correct that. But you got a better division now. The Texans are better. The Colts you think are going to be better. The Titans are better. Now, I still think the Titans are the last place team. But it's a very competitive division. It's not a laughing stock anymore. So, Jaguars are going to have to, prove some people wrong. And we'll see if they could do that. But let me know what you guys think about what the Jaguars did. How do you view their draft? What are your thoughts on them releasing Zay Jones and picking up the options of Trevor Lawrence and Travis Etienne? Let me know in the comments. So, when we come back from our final break of the show, we'll take a look at the remaining free agents after the NFL draft and where they can potentially end up. Hopefully they sign soon. It gives us more to talk about. But yeah, that's what we will discuss when we come back from our final break of the show. So with that being said, for one final time today, stick around, and we'll be right back here on the GSMC Football Podcast.